Please be seated. I love the imagery in the reading from Isaiah. Everything's been turned on its head. The powerful have been overthrown. There's water. There's a path to walk through the water. And the animals are praising God. It's like the Exodus story meets Lion King. I can see it, though, in my mind's eye. And I think part of it's because of the language, but it's also because it resonates, right? I mean, God is always doing something new. And we are saying, but that's not the way it's always been done. We're saying, that's not how I would have done this. And it's only the animals who seem to recognize what's going on. Or the sound team is telling me my mic's not working. Nothing? It's on. You got me? Okay. So, life is full of surprises, especially coming from God. So it shouldn't surprise us that Jesus was full of surprises, right? I mean, he ate with the people that nobody wanted to be around. He invited himself over to dinner in the homes of people nobody wanted to talk to. He healed the people nobody wanted to touch. And not to be overlooked in light of today's gospel story, he raised Lazarus from the dead, right? I love how in the gospel they're like, oh yeah, Lazarus who he brought back from the dead. Like it's just, a regular thing, right? They watch the Broncos together sometimes. He brought him back from the dead. We're having supper. Pass the potatoes. I mean, what was that like, right? The irony is whenever we tell that story, we end it right where he's brought back from the dead. But the thing is, he goes on to live his life, right? That's the entire part of that story. That's the whole point of it. How did that work? Did he just get up the next day and go to work? I mean, how did that change him, that experience? And how did it change his sisters who had invited Jesus in the first place after Lazarus had died? How could you possibly just sit down and have dinner and be like, pass the potatoes? I mean, I know things got weird when Mary started washing the feet with her hair, but, it's Jesus. Did you expect this to be a normal dinner party? I think one of the things that animals know and do that we sometimes forget is having friendships, right? That cute book series, The Unlikely Friendships, right? Have you ever seen that? It's like, how could a rabbit and a turtle be friends? Well, pretty easily probably, but it's just cute to take a picture of them together, And the truth is, animals aren't the only people who have unlikely friendships, right? Probably all of us do. Somebody you met at work or in the waiting room at the doctor's office or, I don't know, at church, who is completely different from you in every way that it's possible for people to be different, right? Who you should never have even met, let alone formed a friendship with. And yet somehow God makes those kind of things happen. One of the most sort of well-known of those examples in recent history is the friendship that existed between Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia, who were two Supreme Court justices on opposite sides of the bench, so to speak. But they left each other, right? They went to opera together, they played games together, they went on vacation and rode on an elephant together. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And after they had both died, Scalia's son was telling a story about a time when Scalia had ordered roses to be delivered to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think maybe it was her birthday or something. And his clerk said, how can you send this woman flowers? She has never once helped you swing a vote in the direction that you want it to go. And Scalia said, some things are more important than votes. Some things are more important than votes. A lot of things, actually. In fact, you might even say there are very few things that really matter, right? All the things we fret and fuss about. And Jesus reminded us the most important thing is that you love God and you love one another. The rest of it's just details. It doesn't matter how awkward dinner gets when somebody decides to wash somebody's feet with their hair. It doesn't matter how much money is in Judas's discretionary fund, although he's very lucky no one ever audited him, am I right? The question is, how do you show the love you have for God and for other people in your actions and in your words? How do you do that right now in your life with the people and the environment that surrounds you? See, when Jane Goodall talks about you can't do everything, but you can do something, I think she's trying to tell us the same thing that Jesus was trying to tell us, right? He says, you'll always have the poor with you, but you won't always have me. Seems a little harsh, right? I mean, there'll always be poor people, probably, and Jesus is pretty important. Those are accurate statements, but it makes it sound like he's saying it's not a big deal. But I think what he was trying to say is, you can't do everything, right? Think of all the problems of the world. What can we do about them? I mean, the answer shouldn't be nothing, I guess, but there are very few things that we can impact. But the people who are right in front of us, we can do something for them. And that's what Mary did for Jesus. She met him where he was, struggling in the face of his own death, possibly, and gave him a gift. And that's what Jane Goodall did too. Did you notice that? When the little girl says, I don't know what to do, people are, there's so much people destroying the world, the animals don't trust us. And the first thing Jane Goodall said was, sometimes it feels hopeless, doesn't it? Before she told her about hope, before she told her she could do something, she said, I hear you, right? It's hard. You can do that, right? Even when people are facing issues that you have no idea how to address or don't have the power to do anything about, you can still say to them, I am here, I am with you, I hear it, I know you're having a hard time. That's what Mary did for Jesus. She couldn't prevent his death, she couldn't even be with him in it, but she could say, I'm here and I see you, and I know what you're about to face, and I am with you. How much does that cost? Just to take a moment to see people, the people who were supposed to be on the opposite spectrum from, the people who are asking us for money at the street corners, the people who we really don't like, who are a part of our daily lives. What does it take to look at them and see them and try to understand where they're coming from? And what about Jesus in this story? Jesus didn't wash anybody's feet. Well, I mean, he did, but that was a different story. What he did in this story is receive the gift that Mary gave him. Think about how difficult that might have been. I mean, what could she possibly offer him? But instead of laughing her off or shirking her off, he received what she gave. It makes me think about people who have their funerals before they die. Have you ever heard of this? When somebody knows that they have a terminal illness or something, they'll invite everybody. I mean, it makes sense, because when you're at funerals, how often do you think, who'd really love this, right? The one person who's not here. And you think about how hard it must be for the people coming to say goodbye to this person they love. But do you ever think about what it must be for that person to have to sit there and receive all of that love and all of that generosity, knowing that there's going to be such loss in the future? I mean, maybe that'd be easy for you, but I know it wouldn't be easy for me. Sometimes it's harder to receive love and compassion from people than it is even to give it. But that is what Jesus did. He showed us that there is a different way, that God has a surprise ending. And that's the heavenly call of God in Christ Jesus. That's the water in the middle of the wilderness. That's the dandelions that are somehow still growing even though it keeps snowing. It's the way that life comes not from the powerful and the richest and the bestest, but from humility and grace. It's the people who are able to say, I see you, and I will let you see me, even though I am broken and messed up and I don't quite know what I'm doing. Those are the people who do the best job of showing the love that they have for God and for one another. So many times in our lives, we face struggles that we think are impossible. We go out crying, carrying the seed, sure that nothing's going to grow. But every time, we come again with joy, shouldering our sheaves, right? You lose somebody that you love, and then all of a sudden, surprise, there's a community of people who want to walk with you through this, who want to show up with a casserole or call you on the phone. You are sure that this person is too different from you to ever be a friend. And then surprise, you form this lasting relationship that is transformative in your life. You're positive that there's no way your faith can see you through this, that you have seen the end of it and you can't go on. And then surprise, there's something. Just the way that the light catches, or the animal's behavior in nature or in our homes, or something that is a part of that comes to us in a moment of prayer that reminds us that even though it is cold and dark, the coldest and darkest moments come right before the dawn. You don't have to change the world. Well, you don't have to change the world to change the world. You get to be a part of God's surprise ending. To show up and offer love to those who are despairing, and to hope to those who are in doubt. Just by being present to the human beings that are in front of you, to taking care of the needs that you see and giving it all that you have in that moment. And if you're in a place where you can't do that, because right now you need a little bit of love and grace and hope, that's okay too. It's okay to say, I need some help. I need some love. And to trust that Christ, who did that same thing, will walk with you through it. And that God has an ending in mind that is beyond anything you could have asked for or imagined. Just try not to be surprised.